It's time for this month's edition of Trend Spotting with interior designer Glen Peloso. And with us, a school year just creeping up on us. What are some of the essentials?
So, I mean, the funny thing is that, I know that for kids, they're like, it's school year is creeping up. And for parents, they're like, yes, the school year is creeping up. but, I mean, the thing is that kids run off to school. They either run off to a dorm, they run off to a place at university where they're going to hang out with their friends, whatever. They've rented a space. And you need to a little bit figure out, how am I going to make this dorm room personalized? How am I going to make it a nice space so that you sort of set your kids up for success once they get into the university setting? And I think that the smart place to start is really just some of the practical stuff. So I think that making sure that you have, a relatively decent duvet that they can use. I wouldn't go with white because it's just going to get dirty. That's the reality. So go with something that's a little bit of a darker color, so that works out for you. I mean, you'll find some really good quality sheets. These are from a company called House of Jude, and they make sort of a pure cotton sheet, so it feels really nice for the whole time. And then the color combinations can look really great.
Now, obviously, as a student, you got to consider the budget and the cost of all these
You
things.
do have to consider the cost of all these. So you're doing things relative. I mean, you're going a little bit to the bank of mom and dad, where lots of kids go just to go to school now. And then a little bit, you're going to, if you've worked over the summer, you want to find some things that make sense. So having something that's good quality sort of makes sense to me. Having a really decent throw so that if you're having a bad day, you can curl up and go to sleep in something that's sort of nice. Also, nice idea is to have some really relatively decent pillows. You don't need to spend a lot of money on them, but because your bed is going to sometimes be the sofa, it's going to sometimes be your workspace, it's going to sometimes be where you're going to watch television and do all those kinds of things. So having some cushions that you can put around the bed that allows you to use it sort of like a sofa is a really good way to get sort of a double use out of that space. These towels are all recycled, so it's all from recycled materials. That can be a great thing to do for yourself and to do for the environment. So, and making sure that you have some of these things around you so that you're not sort of, drying yourself with 2 J-cloths and that was my university setting anyway, like 2 J-cloths and a paper towel.
The smelly towel you've used for 3 months.
That's right. I didn't notice. Were you my roommate? What's going on here? And then you want to do some things just to take care of yourself. So, getting a yoga mat, being able to do some stretching. It's nice to have some sort of massage balls to help you relax a little bit. Other people sometimes use alcohol for relaxation, but it's not good for your long-term career at university. So finding some more holistic ways of doing that really makes sense. And then find some ways to personalize your space. So, a really great piece of art. I mean, maybe you just miss your dog. Actually, this is your dog.
That's a cute dog, yeah.
It is a really cute dog, don't you think? What's his name?
Cadbury.
Cadbury, yeah. So that was if you missed your dog.
Yeah, if I missed my dog.
Then you'd have a picture of him. So, getting some fun art that's interesting. These are sort of just a big kiss, neon lips that can go onto the wall so that your space becomes a little bit more personalized. And I'm going to just take this down. It becomes a little bit more personalized and you can sort of, make the space your own. And then once you finish that, find some, this is a great little projector, so it hooks up to your cell phone, and you can, stream Netflix on this or whatever you want, or you could just look at, photos of the crazy things that you did last night, or pictures of your dog, or whatever you want to do.
What does something like that go for?
It ends up being maybe around $45 or $50, and it's a relatively and it's really just an add-on to your phone. You could watch on your phone as well, which is I think where lots of people who are going to university are watching everything.
Yeah.
I like this as well. It's a sleep mask from Sealy, and it is also a noise machine. So it allows you to sort of cut out the ambient light, but also to have sort of a white noise machine to help you go to sleep. Perhaps you're a little bit stressed about your exams, in which case maybe you should have studied. I don't know if you've ever heard that before. And then once you get into the things that are just purely practical, have something to write something down. And I mean, I thought this was sort of cute. It's called spells, and so maybe if you really dislike your philosophy teacher, you can write, try to come up with some sort of spell that maybe you can cast on them so that they don't have the same experience. And then the things that are like, just stay hydrated. These things are great in terms of portability and being able to bring water. In your room, you're probably going to want to have coffee because probably you're going to stay up late and study. I mean, if you were anything like me, that's what's going to happen.
How easy is all this stuff to find?
It's generally really easy. I mean, you could go to any one of the sort of the big box stores that have this sort of stuff. I mean, there's Indigo, there's HomeSense Winners, there's a dollar store. Some of this stuff just came from the dollar store, and that's sort of how I sort of find things to bring onto the show. Is like, oh, this is useful, just by shopping around at a variety of different places until you find something that works.
Now we've got about 30 seconds left,
Yeah.
and you were saying earlier it's better to spend a little bit more initially to get the better quality.
Yes, I just think that things break down really quickly. So if you buy things that are really, really poor quality, by halfway through the first year, you're going to want to throw them out. And do make sure you get a laundry bag. A nice, good-sized laundry bag is super helpful, just because it's where you're going to put all of your clothes, and then mom and dad are going to clean them. They don't know that yet, but they are.
Perfect, Glenn. Thank you very much for some back-to-school designer tips.